I have been yapping on without turning on my mic. So anyway, this is the deal, man. This is the Meta AMD deal. Share that quickly. This is according to the Wall Street Journal. And I know yapping on earlier without the mic on left some things, you're not gonna get hear them, so I'm gonna repeat them here. But before we go ahead and read through this, just to sum up what I said earlier, it's a multi-billion dollar deal, and it's also for customized chips as well. So the chips that AMD is going to be creating for Meta, custom chips built primarily for Meta products, including their physical products. Especially now with the success of their Meta glasses. So they're creating more and more physical products that's AI native. So let's go ahead and read this quickly and see what the deal is about. Title there, Meta and AMD agree to AI chips, custom chips. Deal worth more than $100 billion. That right there is Lisa Su, the AMD chief executive. So it says here that the deal could result in Meta owning as much as 10% of AMD stock as the chip maker seeks to challenge NVIDIA. AMD is not, they are also buying from NVIDIA as well. They're also buying from NVIDIA as well. Let's see, Meta and NVIDIA deal. So the AMD deal is $100 billion, well, more than $100 billion. Let's see what the deal is with, here's the latest on the Meta NVIDIA deal. This was 5 days ago. How much is the deal? What is the NVIDIA deal worth? See if it's comparable to AMD. Estimated value of the NVIDIA Meta chip deal. Says here, analysts at market estimate places the potential value of around up to roughly $50 billion over the multi-year period based on industry and investor research tied to Meta's planned AI infrastructure. Why the number is an estimate? So why they're coming out and saying outright that the AMD deal is 100 billion. So they only invest in about 50. Well, there's no such thing as only 50 billion, but looks like the Meta Nvidia deal is $50 billion. Ballpark. See, there's no formal value has been disclosed by either company. But here's the thing, they're buying chips from Meta, from AMD, they're also buying chips from Nvidia as well. Do they have a deal with OpenAI? Does Meta have an AI deal with OpenAI? Probably not. As of now, Meta does not have a publicly confirmed formal AI technology. I think the OpenAI deal is with Microsoft. So let's see what this deal is about. Just a quick summary here. Meta Platforms agreed to buy 6 gigawatts of AI computing power from advanced micro devices in a deal worth over $100 billion. Let's see here. Okay, so with that deal, part of the agreement is Meta owning as much as 10% of AMD's stock. The deal was announced today, represents a coup for AMD. I think this might be their biggest customer. Is Meta AMD's biggest customer? It's says Meta is one of AMD's largest customers, but not officially confirmed as the single biggest yet. Okay. AMD's broader server and AI processor customers include large cloud and enterprise buyers such as Microsoft, Google. Public filings do not yet rank them definitively. This deal means a lot though to AMD for sure. Let's see. Let's go to AMD Yahoo Finance. Let's see what the stock price is today. Oh, okay. So it's $213. It went up by what, $17.17. It went up by 8.74%. So what they're saying is if they are able to go from 213 to $600 per share, AMD is going to award Meta 160 million shares at a penny each. That's the metric that they're going for. So under the agreement, Meta will buy enough of AMD's latest chips, known as the MI450 series, to power data centers using up to 6 gigawatts of computing power over the next 5 years. Each gigawatt of computing power means several tens of billions of dollars in revenue for AMD. So this is roughly about what, 20 billion per gigawatt? Maybe 30 billion per gigawatt. So the company said Meta is expected to deploy the first gigawatt starting later this year. Where are they building these data centers? I want to know. Where is Meta building their data centers? Now they've invested $72 billion so far. So this one thing too, guys, construction of data centers is where things are going today, particularly landowners. If you own rural land, let me stop this for a second. If you own rural land, hold on to it. Hold on to your rural land because guess what? There's this new development popping up right now, data center development. It's a very niche industry. They are paying more than residential developers. These data center developers are paying more. So if you own rural land away from the general population, you may want to start reaching out. That's if you're planning on selling. You may want to start reaching out to these data center developers. They are picking up rural land left and right, and they are paying premium. They are paying more than you would get if you were to sell to, let's say, residential developers or even commercial developers. So let's see where I want to see. I'm super, super interested in data center constructions for sure. So major locations where Meta is building or expanding data centers, United States of America. So the middle belt there, Indiana, Wisconsin, Louisiana, El Paso, Texas, Prometheus in New Albany, Ohio. Established or ongoing campus expansions, US and global. Huntsville, Montgomery, Alabama, Mesa, Arizona, Stanton Springs, Georgia, Idaho, Ohio, North Carolina, Missouri. So international presence, let's see. While most of while the most newsworthy growth is in the US, Meta also operates data centers internationally. Let's see. Any plans for Africa? Any plans for Data construction, data center construction in Nigeria or Africa. I said Afrix. So Meta is not directly building its own hyperscale data centers in Nigeria or elsewhere in Africa, like it does in the US. Anyway, I'm kind of going off here, but I'm interested in who's building in Africa. Who's building in Africa? Series major US companies are building in Africa. Microsoft Azure has operational hyperscale data centers in Africa, particularly in South Africa. See what I'm talking about, guys? South Africa right now is they're the number one, the largest economy in Africa right now. See, that's where money goes. Money goes to what works. So he says Azure is also reporting to be increasing investments across Africa, including potential presence or expansion in Kenya and Nigeria. So nothing is official yet. Amazon Web Services, though, established its first African data center again in South Africa. See, we got to take that South African market share, Nigeria. And has launched a local zone in Lagos. This means AWS can serve Nigerian enterprises with lower latency, though it is not yet a full hyperscale region in Nigeria. See, Google Cloud too is also in Johannesburg. So I think by now we can all agree by now that South Africa might be the AI nation in the entire African continent. I think they are running laps around Nigeria right now when it comes to technology and artificial intelligence, if all these companies are going there. So their infrastructure is definitely built to support AI and data center construction in South Africa. This is an area that Nigeria cannot afford to lag behind, seriously speaking. So let's go back to, so at least now you know that Google Cloud, Amazon Web Services is doing something, but it seems like everything is pointing towards South Africa, countries and regional hubs with growing data center activity. The leading markets, South Africa, Kenya is right behind them. Nigeria, rising investments, including Equinix and local zone cloud presence, Egypt and Morocco. All right. So I was talking about that 160 million AMD shares as part of the arrangement. AMD has agreed to give Meta warrants to buy up to $160 million. So 160 million AMD shares, or roughly 10% of the company, for a penny apiece, as long as certain milestones are met. And that milestone is what? If AMD stocks hits $600, it unlocks 100. So hitting 600, hitting $600, if the stock hits $600, it will automatically unlock that 160 million AMD shares for Meta. So Meta is playing the long game here. So this report is actually, it says here that the stocks closed at 196.60 on Monday. As you guys can see today, it is what? It went up $17.14. Now it's $213.77. It just keeps on ticking up and down. This is my main holding here is Walmart. 126, so it went up 79 cents. That's my major position right there is Walmart. I don't yet own Meta or AMD stocks. All right, so with a limited number of large buyers of their chips, both NVIDIA and AMD have been using novel financing mechanisms to lock key customers into long-term agreements to use their technology. So it says here October, AMD struck a deal with OpenAI that had terms almost identical to the Meta partnership. Both deals are examples of what critics have dubbed circular financing, an arrangement under which one company pays another company, which turns around and buys products or services from the first company. So, what is AMD's deal with OpenAI? AMD's deal with OpenAI. See what that deals. How much now? It's also a multi-year strategic compute agreement under which AMD will supply OpenAI with high-performance AI hardware, specifically Future Instinct series GPUs and rack scale solutions to power OpenAI's AI models and data centers. The total compute capacity involved is up to about 6 gigawatts. So you kind of expect the same though. If it's about 6 gigawatts, then it's also probably going to be about 100 billion dollars. So similar to the Meta deal, warrant equity option as well. AMD issued OpenAI warrants for up to 160 million shares of AMD stocks that could give OpenAI a 10% economic stake in AMD. So just off the bat right there, they are looking at ditching 20% of the company, split evenly between OpenAI and Meta. So it seems like this is common, the warrants. But then what that generates is long-term, multi-year partnership, not just one-off. Like, believe in us, give us time. Let's be in partnership together for 5 years, 6 years, or even more at the very minimum. I don't think anybody's doing less than a 5-year deal. So pretty similar to the Meta deal, the same structure deal with OpenAI, similar to what they have with Meta. So you guys are thinking AI is not a bust. You guys are thinking AI is a bubble. It is not a bubble. It is not a bubble. It is for real. When you look at where money is going, you look at all these investments, multi-billion dollar long-term investments. It is not a bubble. This industry is here to stay. It is here to stay. So AMD Chief Executive Lisa said in a briefing with reporters ahead of Tuesday is meant to counter competitors like Nvidia as large customers such as Meta increase spending on AI infrastructure. AMD is seeking to lock them into using its chips for as long as possible. It says here Meta has a lot, of course they do. Competition is out there. Nvidia is out there. Broadcom is out there. Intel is out there. Everybody's selling chips. TSMC is out there. That's a company out of Taiwan. They're actually the largest chip manufacturer in the world. The TSMC or TSMC Semiconductors. Yeah, that's been the world's dedicated semiconductor manufacturer. So it's Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. What's their website? So what the website? I want to look at their website. It's right here. Man, you gotta love ChatGPT, don't you? Oh, they have a technology symposium? Where? Where is the symposium? Wednesday, April 22nd, North America. Where? Where's the location? Okay. Santa Clara. This is a nice little 1 hour flight for me. So there's Boston, Amsterdam, So this is in Santa Clara. Let's see. I'm gonna come back to this page. You guys know I attend a lot of conferences and conventions, so something I'll be interested in. Tech symposium exhibitor. I don't want to register. I just want to go. Okay. Hotel. Okay. I'm gonna come back to this page once I'm done with this live to see what this tech symposium is about. TSMC, as you guys know, one of, if not the largest producer of chips in the world. So last week, Meta said it would buy several million of NVIDIA's GPUs as well. Let's see. Let's open that link in a new window. So this is it. This was on the 17th. Meta will buy millions of NVIDIA chips for AI build out. Okay. 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 So that's a nice little short article there. Meta is expanding its relationship with NVIDIA in a new deal that will see the social media. Meta is no longer a social media company. Oh. Meta is a tech company. So they're going to be buying tens of billions of dollars worth of chips and other hardware for its artificial intelligence needs. Meta plans to use millions of NVIDIA's Blackwell and Rubin GPUs and a significant deployment of NVIDIA's Grace and Vera CPUs to build out its data centers. So GPUs are graphic processing units. See, this is where it's at right there. That's the future right there. Data centers. That's the future. They consume a lot of light, though, a lot of electricity, and they also consume a lot of water because data centers will need cooling. They sip a lot of water. So although Meta has been a customer of NVIDIA for more than a decade, the new initiative is expected to more closely tie Meta, one of the biggest developers of AI models, to NVIDIA's hardware and software ecosystem. The expanded partnership is related to the Facebook and Instagram's. Oh, okay. So Meta Compute Efforts, what is that? Which seeks to quickly expand. Let's look what that is. The Meta Compute Efforts. Meta creates, this was back in January. What's a Meta Compute Effort? Meta is planning to build tens of gigawatts this decade and hundreds of gigawatts or more over time. So it says how we engineer, invest, and partner to build this infrastructure will become a strategic advantage. The new initiative is called the Meta Compute and will be led by longtime Meta executive Santosh and Daniel Gross, a new AI hire who previously co-founded Safe Superintelligence with. Okay, so this is a new thing. Okay. Okay. Let's get back to this. Okay, so Meta plans to deploy tens of gigawatts of data center computing power this decade. Meta attributed record revenue in the most recent quarter to AI. Mhm. People are making money with AI. Companies are making money with AI. You guys saw what, I don't know if you did, but what's this guy? CEO of Salesforce. I think it's Mark Benoit, that's his name. They doubled their revenue because of artificial intelligence, and they did it by using less people. So the revenue rose, but they didn't hire more. They actually hired less, driven largely by artificial intelligence. You got to get skilled too in AI. Try and get some certifications in AI at the very, very basic level. Look into course platforms like Coursera and start taking AI, basic AI, foundational, fundamental AI. Try and build up those certificates. I'm more into the AI leadership though, AI strategy for executives and leaders. I'm not really into the whole technical thing. I'm not interested in coding. I'm not interested in being a technical laborer for anybody. But as far as just understanding how AI impacts businesses from a strategic standpoint and from an executive standpoint, I'm really interested in that. So I've been looking into taking a course at Harvard in person at Harvard. So that's going to be sometime this year. I have a choice of doing it online, but I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to go to Harvard for about a week. The course is about a week long, and then complete the course there and then get certified. AI strategy, AI leadership. Yeah, that's my focus right now, at least before the end of the year. All right, let's go and see what else. So I follow these things to know where capital is going. Where is capital flowing to? Money, money, money. Everything is flowing towards AI and data centers right now. And we're already starting to see the impact even in the real estate sector too. Hold on to that raw land. That's rural land. Hold on to it. So it says here, this is an important step for Meta as we diversify our compute. Zuck said in a statement, I expect AMD to be an important partner for many years to come. In the past, AMD has usually sold off-the-shelf GPUs or general use AI chips that aren't tailored for any specific workload. Its latest AI chip, known as the MI450, is easier to customize because it uses a design architecture that integrates several tiny interconnected bits of silicon, known as chiplets, rather than relying on a single monolithic silicon die as its main processor. Meta wants to optimize its AMD chips for inference, or the process by which an AI model responds to user inquiries. The arrangement with Meta thrust AMD into more direct competition with Broadcom, the world's biggest designer of the custom chips. Broadcom, good to share, $324.69. So here's another company that builds chips. Chip manufacturers, for those of you out there. So look at Broadcom's competitor, NVIDIA, the Taiwan semiconductor manufacturing company that we just talked about, Qualcomm, Intel, AMD, Texas Instruments. These are all the players in the high stakes chip manufacturing sector. Okay. Alrighty. So that's it, guys. Good investment for AI, good investment for AMD, and also for Meta. Zuckerberg is really, is it doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down, whatever the man is doing, he is dug in deep. He really truly does believe in artificial intelligence, and he's putting his money where his mouth is. All right. So be sure, I'm gonna be back again. I want to talk about something that I saw the other day. This is gonna be the next session. I'm gonna go live shortly uh, on that podcast episode. So I want you guys to tune into that one as well. I want to start going forward, breaking down, just start segmenting this podcast. So that way, every time that I come on, I only speak on one topic. That's what I want to start doing. In the past, I used to kind of just jumble and combine all sorts of topics into one long, drawn out podcast. I don't want to do that anymore. Now it's just segmented, topical podcast is what I'm going to start doing going forward. And every time that I log on live, I get subscribers. So I really do appreciate all of you guys for watching. Those of you who have subscribed, be sure to hit that notification bell so when I go live, you are notified in real time when I'm live. So stay tuned for the next podcast. I'm going to be launching it here shortly, and I'll see you soon. Thank you very much. Talk to you guys later.